because I think everyone here has seen the huge escalation towards war, the war that's being waged already on Iran, that's being driven by aggression by the Israeli state, which has been engaged for a year and a half in an ongoing genocide in Gaza, which has killed over 400,000 people. That war has now escalated to Lebanon and now to Iran. And we're here to get organized to fight back, and I think we all understand that there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot that we're fighting against. We are up against some of the most powerful forces on earth. The Democratic Party, the Republican Party, which has driven this genocide, which has driven this escalation towards war with tens of billions of dollars that have gone to fund the Israeli state, to fund this genocide, to fund this escalation. And now Donald Trump has threatened direct military strikes by the U.S. On Iran. This is incredibly dangerous, and it is urgent that our movement gets organized to build a fighting anti-war movement internationally, independent of these two warmongering parties. And we're here also to elect an independent socialist, Kshama Sawant, to U.S. Congress on an anti-war, anti-genocide, pro-worker platform to end the genocide in Gaza, end U.S. military aid to Israel, end the deportations, close the detention centers, fight for free healthcare by taxing the rich, and to fight for rent control. We need to send Kshama Sawant to Congress, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to introduce our first speaker. By the way, I'm M. Smith. I'm a member of Workers Strike Back. And thank you. And I'm going to introduce another member of Workers Strike Back and a member of Revolutionary Workers, a renter in Seattle, Danielle Zarakowicz. Danielle.
Like Em said, my name is Danielle. I'm a member of Workers Strike Back and Revolutionary Workers and a local renter in Seattle. I've been now for 5-6 years. And so yeah, Donald Trump and the warmongers in both parties are ratcheting up their war machine. Trump has threatened to directly join the Israeli aggression against Iran, saying he may or may not launch a direct strike on Iran. In effect, the US has already joined the war. Trump, Republicans, and Democrats in Congress have given full backing to Israel's assault, which has already killed more than 600 Iranians. The U.S. has funneled tens of billions of dollars to fund Israel's genocide in Gaza, its assault on Lebanon, and now this disastrous war on Iran. Israel has slaughtered 400,000 Palestinians in Gaza and 4,000 people in Lebanon. Now it's turning its sights on Iran. This is a transformation of the genocide into a dangerous regional war. Democratic Congressman Adam Smith is one of the biggest warmongers in Congress. As chair of the House Armed Services Committee, he approved tens of billions of dollars to fund the genocide. He has blood all over his hands. In response to Israel's attacks on Iran, Adam Smith said, "I support what Israel is doing. And I support us helping Israel." More than 600 Iranians have already been killed by Israel's attacks. Their blood is on Adam Smith's hands. At least 24 Israelis have also been killed since Israel launched this new war. The blood of those Israelis is also on the hands of Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and the bipartisan warmongers, including Adam Smith.
That's right.
It's time to defeat Adam Smith and the war criminals in both parties.
Yep.
We need to send Kshama Sawant to Congress and build an international mass movement to stop this war. Working people are fed up, and not just about the war. 2/3 of Americans oppose Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which cuts $600 billion from Medicaid. 5 million people took to the street for the No Kings protest to fight Trump's deportations. Approval for ICE is now underwater, and Trump is deeply, deeply unpopular. But it's not just the Republicans. People are sick of the Democrats too. Nearly 60% of Americans disapprove of the Democrats in Congress. Working people know that Democrats, like Adam Smith, are complicit in Trump's attacks. Adam Smith voted in 2002 for the bill to establish ICE. He's voted for trillions of dollars in military spending since he took office in 1997. He voted for the Iraq War and has supported every war since. He called anti-war protesters left-wing fascists. The anger is boiling in Israel too. In March of this year, a poll found that 73% of Israelis want Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to resign. It's not a coincidence that this war is happening right at the time that the capitalists and the warmongers are facing growing opposition. This escalation towards war is happening because their system is in crisis. They want to prop it up by beating the war drums. In Seattle, Kshama Sawant and our movement have shown how to win victories for working people. The first $15 an hour minimum wage in a major city, the Amazon tax for affordable housing, and renters' rights. In November 2023, we won the second and strongest ceasefire resolution in the country against the genocide in Gaza. We overcame opposition from the right-wing Modi government in India and the far-right Hindu nationalist movement to win the first ban on caste discrimination anywhere outside of South Asia. When the right-wing Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, it was Kshama Sawant and our movement that fought back, and we won free abortion for everyone who needs it in Seattle. We need that kind of movement on a much, much larger scale, not just in Seattle. We need to send a leader to Congress who knows how to build movements, who can mobilize tens of thousands of people to fight back for what we need: free healthcare, quality affordable housing, rent control, an end to the war, an end to the genocide, and an end to the deportations. Kshama Sawant is a rare leader in this country who has been willing to go up against big business, corporate landlords, and both their parties, Democratic and Republican. We need her in Congress to go up against these bipartisan warmongers and force a reckoning in Washington, D.C. I hope everyone here can join us after this rally to go out tabling and postering and door knocking. We got to get organized to oppose this war and to build Kshama's anti-war, anti-genocide, and pro-worker campaign. We're going to be up against millions of dollars from AIPAC and big business. It's going to take an army to defeat them. Thousands of people getting involved however they can, donating, volunteering, getting organized, talking to your neighbors, co-workers. So let's get started. Because when we fight, we can win. Solidarity.
Adam Smith, you can't hide. You are funding genocide. Adam Smith, you can't hide.
You are funding genocide.
Adam Smith, you can't hide.
You are funding genocide.
Adam Smith, you can't hide.
You are funding genocide.
Thanks, Danielle. I want to introduce our next speaker, who I think everybody knows, Kshama Sawant, the former council member from District 3 in Seattle, who, as Danielle just said, led the fight for countless victories in Seattle. The $15 minimum wage, the first in any major city in the country, which, because we won inflation adjustments, is now $20.76 in Seattle, the highest in the country. We won the Amazon tax for affordable housing to fund hundreds of millions of dollars every year going towards affordable housing. Kshama led the movement for that. Renters' rights, which are now under attack by the Democrats on city council. Our movement has fought back to defend these victories. We defended them when they tried to water down the $15 minimum wage and repeal key parts of that bill. We forced them to back down. Joy Hollingsworth, the Democratic council member here, was forced to back down from that attack. And we just won a victory a few weeks ago, defeating their attack on the ethics laws in Seattle that Democrat Kathy Moore put forward. We forced her to back down from that and forced Kathy Moore to resign because it was so shameful what she was doing. And yeah. So our movement has mobilized over and over and over again, gotten organized, fought back, won these victories with the leadership of Kshama. So without further ado, Kshama Sawant.
As Israel carries out an assault on Iran with full backing from the Trump regime and both Democrats and Republicans, the people in Gaza face increasing daily violence as punishment simply for seeking food for their starving families and children. Tuesday this week was the bloodiest day in recent weeks in Gaza. Israeli tanks fired point blank into a crowd of Palestinians trying to get food and mowed down at least 59 people. Video shared on social media shows mangled dead bodies lying on the street and family members sobbing in their unimaginable grief. Contrary to the shocking and systematic underreporting in mainstream media, estimates from the British medical journal The Lancet indicate the Gaza death toll was likely over 335,000 in September last year, and that toll has likely since surpassed 400,000. All of this is bought and paid for by Democratic Congress member Adam Smith and the two warmongering parties who have backed this genocide, this Holocaust of the 21st century, to the hilt. The Israeli state could not have done any of it without the tens of billions of dollars in aid from the US ruling class. The whole ethnic cleansing project by the Israeli state has always been a horrific agenda that both Democrats and Republicans have backed for 75 years. And these two warmongering parties have been purveyors of endless brutal wars throughout their history. The Democrats and Republicans in the US Congress spent more than $14 trillion on war since 9/11. A third to one half of this money is pocketed by military contractors who in turn fund the campaigns of their favorite Democrats and Republicans. And one such weapons industry treasure is my opponent in Washington's 9th Congressional District, Adam Smith, who has held this office since 1997. And far from being a foot soldier, Smith is a general among the war hawks. Smith has fully backed this genocide in Gaza. He voted for the Iraq War in 2002, a multi-year war that took the lives of 1 million Iraqi people. He supported the wars in Kosovo, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Yemen, and the current bloody inter-imperialist proxy war in Ukraine. Adam Smith has the blood of 500,000 Palestinians and 1 million Iraqis on his hands. He needs to not only be booted out of office, he needs to be put on trial.
That's right.
That's right.
During the George W. Bush presidency, Adam Smith's advice to Democrats was to reduce the contrast of Democrats from Bush and the Republicans. He thought the Democratic Party should consider privatizing Medicare. Notorious health insurance corporations like United Healthcare, Humana, and Cigna, who ferociously oppose Medicare for all, have all donated to Smith's campaigns. Smith voted in favor of the shameful bailout of big banks in October 2008, while millions of ordinary people were sold out. In response to our campaign announcement, Adam Smith said, "I have constantly fought against Donald Trump." But you can see from nearly 3 decades of evidence that is exactly what Adam Smith has not done. Instead, Smith has been crucial in preparing the way for Trump to come to power not once but twice. Smith's recommended strategy to defeat Trump is really to make the Democratic Party into Trump light. As one right-wing commentator remarked, Smith sounds more like a Republican than a lot of Republicans. It is precisely this kind of move to the right that cost Kamala Harris the election last year and has sent the Democratic Party's approval rating into the toilet. The Democratic Party was never a party of working people, but it is the increasingly naked, pro-wealthy, pro-corporate, pro-war agenda of the party and the failure of the labor leadership to challenge it that has allowed Trump to get re-elected and allowed Trumpism and right-wing populism to grow. I do not agree with Bernie Sanders, who recently said that Israel's war on Iran is quote-unquote their business. No, it is not their business. It shouldn't be their business when the genocide is being carried out, but it is certainly not their business when that war and the Gaza genocide would be impossible without tens of billions of US dollars.
That's right.
Yeah.
Progressive Democrats like Sanders and Pramila Jayapal are themselves complicit. They also voted for $1 billion for Iron Dome, which is a central part of the genocidal machinery of the Israeli state. And as tens of billions of US dollars are sent for the bloodshed and carnage in the Middle East, tens of millions of American working and poor people are reeling from an unprecedented cost of living crisis, a crisis that is disproportionately affecting black and other families of color. In Seattle, Democrats have been hell-bent in attacking our historic minimum wage and renter rights victories. You heard we have defeated them twice, but they are coming for renters' rights again. So one of the most immediate tasks for our campaign in the remainder of June and in July is to fight back against the Democrats and defeat them in their second and shameful attempt in trying to dismantle renters' rights. Are we going to fight them?
Yes!
Our fighting strategy is urgently needed, as Danielle said, nationally, including in the US Congress. This is why we launched Worker Strike Back and why we're running for Congress against Adam Smith. Our campaign is calling for an end to the genocide, an end to all US military funding to the Israeli state, and an end to the Israeli occupation of Palestinian lands. We're calling to stop deportations and close down the detention centers, shut them down. We're also fighting for free public health care funded by taxing the rich and for rent control. Just as we used our Seattle City Council election campaigns to build momentum for the $15 minimum wage and the Amazon tax, we are using our congressional election campaign to help build the anti-war movement and to fuel momentum for a historic fight for Medicare for all. And just as I did in my decade as a representative of working people in Seattle, if I'm elected to Congress, I will accept only the average worker's wage and donate the rest of my six-figure salary to workers and social justice movements. As the tide of international public opinion turns, the politicians who are responsible for the genocide will start to realize, and they're starting to realize, that they just might be held accountable. Many will start pretending that they were always against the genocide. We absolutely cannot let them get away with that. History has shown this before during the Holocaust of the 20th century. We have to learn the lessons from that time and not allow anyone off the hook who had the power to stop the genocide but refused to do so, and instead, in Smith's case, cheerleaded it. And they have aided and abetted the Israeli state at every step. And now Smith is celebrating Israel's attack on Iran. It is grotesque. No politician who has supported genocide and imperialist war deserves one more working class vote. Every single one of them deserves to be thrown out of office and into the dustbin of history, starting with Adam Smith. And as I said before, far from getting our votes, Adam Smith is among those who needs to be on trial for genocide. This election will be an uphill fight because Smith will have the full force and resources of the billionaires and the weapons industry and the Democratic Party behind him. He will also, and actually also the Republican Party, because this is where they will find unity. Democrats and Republicans have a bipartisan united agenda of war in the Middle East and war against American working people, and they will unite against a working class campaign. Smith will also have many misleaders from the labor leadership, the NGO and liberal leadership, and unfortunately also from some anti-war movement leaders, individuals who will play the role of gatekeepers on behalf of the Democratic Party and the warmongering billionaires, individuals who will use identity politics and even outright lies to make up reasons why working people who are opposed to the genocide, who want to tax the rich and win free healthcare, why those working people should not support our campaigns and instead should support this disgusting warmongering. We will need to do what we have done in every fight in the past. We have found that the only way of overcoming the misleaders is for thousands of us to be out there building working class solidarity across race, ethnicity, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, and reminding people that the only divide that matters under capitalism is the class divide between the working class and the capitalists. And the only way we can do this is for thousands of us to have face-to-face conversations with thousands of others in the 9th Congressional District. There is no substitute for a direct conversation with another of our fellow working person to explain to them why they not only need to vote for us, but they need to get involved in this campaign right away if they want to help end the genocide and want to help win victories for working people, so that we can together, thousands of us, relentlessly expose the slimy divide and conquer strategy of the Democratic Party and of the labor and NGO misleaders. So are we ready?
Yeah!
Are we ready?
Yeah!